Start broadcast. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, what is up, beautiful people? As you know, it is Financial Friday, favorite day of the week. This is where we talk to you guys about what's going on in the market, what's going on with stocks, what's going on in the world. That way you can be more informed when it comes to your financial future, your retirement, and honestly, just everyday life here in the country and obviously all over the world, depending on where you're at. So, if this is your first time joining us, we have two rules here. One of them, first one, we are not telling you what to do with your money. Okay, so do not blame me, G, Rico. Say, them guys told me to go sell this or buy that, or nope, that ain't us. All right, we are, even though we are fiduciaries, that right now is not the time that we are telling you what to do. Okay, we are strictly here to offer some general advice, but you should always do your own research and or hit us on the sideline so we can give you more tailored advice to your situation. All right. Number two, the way we operate here is every week, one of us will choose three articles for us to go over on Friday. Those are articles that we think are important for you guys, the listeners, the watchers, that are integral to kind of your knowledge base on what's going on in the financial world as it stands right now. But other than that, what's up, gents? How y'all doing?
What's
Great,
up,
brother.
man? Yeah,
Great. Cam gave that thorough opening.
man, it was
Bro,
phenomenal. I was like, dang, he just ran through everything perfectly. It was nice, man. Shouts out to you, man.
Sir.
banging on them.
Shouts out to you.
So this week was Rico's week. So
Yes, sir.
Rico, as I pull the articles up, bro, excuse me, please tell people about why you chose them, and we'll get it rocking.
Sure. First and foremost, super glad to be here, guys. Go ahead and share this out. If you are live or you're just watching this again, share this with 5 people. They need to be up to date on their financial information, guys. Get it out, tag them, send in a message, do whatever you got to do. We love to hear feedback from you guys and love to get this information out. With that being said, let's go ahead and roll into it. First article, and I love this. I'm gonna side note, guys. The way we consume information is different now. So this goes from millennials all the way down to Generation Z, Alpha and Omega, and they're too young right now, right? But
All the pie
generation
symbols.
Generation Z and millennials, we consume information differently, right? And so, with that being said, what you're going to start to see us doing on here is posting or utilizing Instagram, still Yahoo Finance, which is one of our favorite places to get information. But I wanted to use this one because the way we consume the information is differently, and you can easily just like swipe over, and it's giving you the information in a
Yeah.
compact manner and in a way
Yep.
that your brain is used to consuming it.
Mhm.
And so
Facts.
if maybe you're not into reading articles or going through the things like that, and it maybe like it gets boring to you, it's like reading a book, you're not really with reading books, but you like to consume social media content, right? And
Hmm.
so Yahoo Finance is really ingenious for this because it ties right into how you consume data, consume data. So
Facts.
first story is what's in the new debt ceiling deal? If we could just swipe, Cam, can you swipe, Cam? Is it
Uh,
possible
where do you want me to swipe at?
on this on the picture?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. I didn't realize it was a carousel.
Yes. Want to make sure that the people can see the. Okay, so what's in the debt ceiling deal? Well, debt limit extends to 2025. What does that mean? That means that we're not going to default. I didn't think we would, but some people were like, "Oh, we're going to default. It's the end of the world." Guys, if we got up to $33 trillion, we've obviously had the time where we pushed the debt ceiling back multiple times. I
Facts.
mean, no disrespect to anybody I have or whatever, and I know that a lot of times fear mongering is what happens in social media and in the media outlets, but you just got to do your research. I mean, just think about it. How the heck did we get to $33 trillion? We obviously have pushed it back multiple times. Okay,
Facts.
don't let people scare you into things that's not real. That's what I will say. Um, 2 year spending cap. So what they said also is that, hey, Biden, check this out. You're going to be in here for one of those years. You can't just
Hmm.
be out here spending frivolously either, right? We can't print a fourth of all the money we've ever printed in the world ever,
Yep.
right? Within a year. Like, you can't do that. That's causing us major issues. That's one of the big reasons why we're at where we're at right now.
Mhm.
Um, Cuts to $1.4 billion in IRS funds. I don't think anybody's mad about that. Like,
Right.
I don't know if people know this, but the IRS is not a government entity. Did you know that? Did you know
Talk-
that they're a
talk to him,
third
Rico.
party?
Talk to him.
No, I'm just asking because we're scared of them like they're the government, right? No, they work in they collaborate.
Mhm.
They're in collaboration, right? They're collaborators with the government, but the IRS is actually a separate entity. It's not with the government. So I don't think anybody's really tripping off of cutting their funds. Really
No.
don't think that. So this is a big one. It ends the student loan pause. So if you were not paying your student loans because you said maybe you got a forgiveness or it was just on pause, right? Biden brought some things in. You didn't have to pay. They weren't defaulting people. They weren't garnishing your wages or anything. But guess what? They will now, right? It says 60 days after this goes into effect,
Pay your
which is August,
bills.
September time. You need to get your money together. Make sure that you're getting ready to pay for your. If you didn't get the forgiveness, right? Then you need to get ready to go ahead and start paying back again on your student loans because the government doesn't play. They will go into your bank account. They will freeze. They will literally freeze your paycheck.
Bruh.
Okay, let's
State
not play
government
around.
do that.
Make sure that you're paying this stuff. And what I said the other day, I was on a podcast and I said, hey, you know what? If we were really intelligent, what would we have been doing? We would have been saving our money, right? The money we weren't paying, we should have put that into some investment where it was making money. And so now when we have to pay, it wouldn't really stress us out, right? We could just pay and we're paying off the interest that we gain. I know that's crazy. Whoever thinks to do things like that, putting money in places where it can make money. Like, I know, right? I'm telling you. Streamlines project permits. So big projects for the government, parks. Right now, Yellowstone. Jesus, that's a whole thing right now. I know people are going crazy over that. But major projects for like national parks, things like that, roads that are interstates and things like that. It cut down and streamlined the timing and the red tape that the government has to do to go ahead and get those things done. Let's go ahead and swipe again.
Real quick, could we I wanted to, you had mentioned about the student loan. And the reason why I wanted to kind of highlight this is because I know a couple of things. Number one, most people in America are in debt, right? And so when the student loan kind of took a pause, it helped some people's households as far as being able to kind of not be to just keep that money in their pocket for a little bit.
Right.
And
Not stretch this thin.
Yeah, you hit something very, very important. Kind of going back, one of the things that should have happened is that most people who have had student loans, it would have been very, very important for them to slide that money aside or put it into something that were at some point the government was going to lift. They was going to lift this, right? And so it was going to turn it back on to where now, if whoever had student loans that was on pause, they now need to pay those bills, right? And so I wanted to highlight this because you have very, very little time. So if you haven't been doing anything with your funds, you have very, very little bit of time. I think I mentioned in August is where folks will have to now need to go back and start paying those student loans, right? And so if you have have had some negative or bad spending habits over the last couple of years, take this next 60 days or less and get very, very intentional on what you're spending your money on. Because like Rico mentioned, man, like the government, they're going to come for the money that they want. So.
And if you got student loans and you got put a comment down there. I want to see how many people watching are talking about that because, G and I were fortunate, being military members, we didn't have to pay for school. Right. However, I got a lot of friends that have, I got a lot of family friends who have, and I got two people who are family friends who are lawyers, and they're like, oh yeah, we're never going to pay down our student loans. I'm like, bruh. And you guys are good lawyers. You work for good companies. It's not for a lack of money. It's just because of the way that the system was set up.
I'm going to tell you like this. I try to stay anti-controversial, but
nope.
It is what it is.
You gotta break it. Sometimes you guys gotta say what you say.
Guys, and listen,
it's important.
Everyone needs education. Don't get me wrong. I would never condemn knowledge, 100%. Right? Gathering knowledge and you need knowledge, right? And then implementing that knowledge to make it turn into wisdom. Yeah. Right? Because it's not wisdom if you're not implementing or using the knowledge to progress yourself. But let me say this. College is a scam.
Hell of a scam, bro.
It's a scam. And the reason I say that is because there's no information in college that you really can't get from YouTube. And I'm just keeping it honest right now.
Yep.
Also, if you look at the European model of schooling, when they go into college, they go into whatever their profession is. If they're going to be
Yep.
a doctor, they go to doctorate school. If they're going to be a lawyer, they go into lawyer. So there's no undergraduate. Undergraduate is a scam.
Yep. There's
You
like all
waste
these
4
like levels.
years paying this entity, right? Right. And then you got to pay more money to get a doctorate or to get a master. Like, and so, I won't go super deep, but you know what it is. The people, so I'll leave it at that. Guys, I know they're like, please don't start.
So I will tell
Um,
you, we are at 12 minutes so far on this one thing.
listen, and I'm literally gonna leave that where it is, guys. We're gonna post and give you the actual links so you can go and read this stuff because there's so much more on the dead deal. The main points was what they listed on the first page. That's really what we needed to talk about. You can dive deeper into this, but the things that kind of were spicy that you kind of wanted, right? Which is for most people, it was the student loan. That's really what they right. And so, yeah.
Yep.
That's
And I put the link for those of you guys who are watching. Check the comments. That's the link to this carousel right here, so you guys can read it. Let us know what you think. Hit us up.
Let us know. Moving on. 'Cause I could spend a whole bunch of time on that.
Oh, I
But
already know.
100%.
moving on. The next article is going to be, we're talking about Apple. And, guys, if you don't have Apple stock, get Apple stock. I mean, it's $1 trillion company. You're like, I'm like, no, listen, you can't go wrong. I don't like Apple products, but I got Apple stock.
He for sure does it.
I don't like nothing. I'm honest. I don't like Apple
But he
phones.
likes
I
their
don't like
business.
Macs. I don't
He
like
likes their
none of that.
business.
I don't like none of that. But I like their business and I love their business model. I respect Steve Jobs, his innovation, the mentalities that he had, the principles. We read a book. What was it? Last month, The $1 Trillion Coach. So it was the person, one of the guys that actually coached Steve Jobs and would counsel him and help him and mentor him and how he made his decisions. And the guy said in the book, man, he was literally saying like Steve Jobs was an anomaly. He was a phenomenal person. So yeah, definitely love Apple's business model. But Apple plans to open some major retail. So they're having a major retail push across China and Asia. And it's funny because the guys, we were just talking about this, to really sum it up, you don't have to really go all the way through it, but they plan to open 53 newer stores all throughout Europe, China, India, and a big push. There's a big push in India. Opening facilities and getting India to get going. India is the most populous country. It's a country, but it's just like the size of a continent. And it's weird that they say it's a subcontinent. They might as well name it a continent, man. It's huge. And it has the most people. And so what's crazy is we were talking about the market share that Apple actually has in India, and it's very small. The Apple, and then all of their phones are made in China, but the market share in China is still very, very small. What does that mean? It means that there is a plethora of opportunity for Apple to take over. There's other manufacturers and business models that are being used and service products that are being used in these countries. And there's billions of people. Between the two, there's 5 billion people between the two of them. And so that's so many people. Apple's seeking to get in there and get their hands dirty, start to make some money. And there were a couple of places that were closed. They're seeking to revamp those, come back in. And then there was a little chart. Can you go down to the chart, Cam?
Oh yeah.
Pull up this. It's actually.
Rico loves his charts for those of you that watch this.
And I think it
no
visually.
Yeah, it was like halfway down.
I think it's halfway down, something like that.
No, I just went through the whole thing and I don't see it.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it.
Interesting.
I saw it on another page. It's cool. What I want to say basically about this whole, and get you guys input on this is, what do you think about a company that's already $1 trillion market cap, right? But still has room basically for another $1 trillion of business.
Bruh.
What would it look like? So that's number one question. What would that look like to gain another $1 trillion? But then also, how do you think that affects the overall S&P and NASDAQ? How does, right? So the weight of Apple is going to be so heavy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And can anyone keep up with that? So question is number one, what would it look like to be a $2 trillion company? And then question number two would be, can anyone keep up with Apple if that happens?
Yeah. So I'll say this. I think that is super doable because of a number of reasons. Like with Apple, with the framework of what Steve Jobs had kind of set, within Apple and the individuals, the creative minds behind the continued products, right? And as they talk about the expansion into other countries, right? Right now, the footprint of Apple products in India is very, very small. I think we were talking about this the other day.
Yep.
Is very, very small, right? And so when you talk about an opportunity to reach just in that space alone, to reach so many more people, not even talking about China, not even talking about the States, it gives there is definitely room to grow, especially one of the things that stands out to me about the Apple brand, especially with their brick and mortar stores, is that they create those with the intent of not selling a product, but with the intent of branding Apple,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, I mean, it's a genius move from a business aspect, right? And so as they continue to open up these additional 53 locations and they're focusing on the Apple brand, the products will take care of itself because there are so many fans of individuals within who like Apple products, or they're always standing in line waiting for the next best thing, or going even more into debt to purchase that product.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's a lot to unpack there. That's, from mindset to habits and all that type stuff. But and then so now regarding the S&P, as Apple continues to expand globally, it is going to impact, I believe it's going to impact the S&P 500, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you have these global indices that will start to kind of grow a little bit more. So those are kind of my thoughts on this particular article. There's a lot more to unpack in there, but being a fan of Apple, I will say that purchasing stock within Apple, it's a brilliant move, for them as they continue to expand.
Love it. Cam, what's your thoughts?
Marketing, baby. That's what
Yep.
it is. I agree
Yep.
with G. At the end of the day, it's all just visual. Like he said, they're not opening the stores because they're like, oh, these stores need to produce more product. It's literally just so as people are walking down the street, they see Apple, Apple, Apple. That's all it is. And
Yep.
and as we know, that is what Steve Jobs, that was one of his biggest pushes when he was building Apples. He was like, we're, realistically, we're not selling a product. We're selling like a mind state, damn near.
You're selling an experience.
An experience.
Yeah.
We're selling a customer experience.
Yep.
It's almost like I don't know if you guys ever read the book Start With Why, but I'm a fan of Simon Sinek. And he has that talk about like start with why. And when you look at the difference of when Apple, going back to what Cam was talking about as far as marketing, they start with the why, right? And then go, reverse engineer it. Mm-hmm. And that was a big part of their beginning success because they started with why, and the way the human mind works. So,
yep. One of their Measure What Matters also with John Doerr, he talks about that with their OKRs, and one of those was understanding human being psyche.
Yep.
Right, the psychology, the mindset of a human being. There's one thing, you want to be successful in anything, any industry, right? Any person that's been like a baron of industry, Bill Gates, Jobs, Bezos, Elon Musk, even people don't think he does, but he actually understands human psychology very well because he knows what presses people's buttons. Right, he knows what's controversial, and sometimes you have to do that. But you want to be successful in business, you study human psychology, right? Everything is psychology. Everything is understanding the way that people react or interact with that stuff. So, for sure, man. Rolling into the final one, guys. It's one of G's favorites, right? Like I got to do this one for G. It's about AI. I think that is the craze. Everybody's talking AI, right? People are probably tired of talking about AI, but it is what it is. I mean, it's prevalent and it's real, and it's not going anywhere, guys. It's made its way in, and it's here to stay. So, the CEO of HP said that AI will change significantly the business of work. And he means the business of how humans interact with work or interact with jobs, right?
Mhm.
And so he said, we are reminded that many jobs created last month may not even exist a decade from now. Now, think about that. I want you to fathom that. Many jobs that were just created last month, in 10 years, those jobs won't exist, right? It's literally, we've never seen an inflection point like this. Like literally AI has, it's warp speeded everything, right? To the point now we know, Chat GPT and stuff, teachers are trying to figure out how they can distinguish or differentiate between the student writing it via Chat GPT. No, dude, congratulate that student
Yep.
because that means he works smarter, not harder to beat your system. Why should you sit for days and weeks and I can just write it in a couple seconds, right? So that's one of the things that they're talking about. Enrique Loris is actually, that's his name, the CEO of HP. And he said, you got to understand that this is super disruption, right? This is industry disruption. This is life altering, right? This is completely life altering. And we're going to be moving away from the service or the tertiary level of things, which is us humans doing things, to us understanding and interpreting things, right? And so we have to now become either mechanics or mental capacity or capacitors of the AI, right? So you got to learn how to interpret things differently. It's not
Yep.
you doing it, because I can get a robot. Robots never sleep, right? And they talk about that, right? So generative AI is what they call it. Like because Ford assembly lines and GM and all them, they all have robots. They've had robots for years. And
Yep.
so it exposes that the equivalent of 300 million jobs globally could move to automation. We've already seen it, right? You go to Walmart, you got the self checkouts, and then they got stuff you'd be surprised. There's literally robots everywhere, all throughout different jobs, right? That are taking over human jobs. And so, after all, they said robots don't need time off. That's something to think about. You
Hella
don't have to
don't.
give them. You don't got to give them to like
Mhm.
it's a machine,
They don't need
right?
a
And
smoke
so
break.
they're just working. Their sole purpose was they were created to work. Um, Goldman Sachs, which is, we all know that's a huge bank, it's an investment bank, right? They said US labor productivity will grow by 1.5% over a 10-year period following the widespread adoption of generative AI. AI could also eventually increase the annual global gross domestic product by 7%. Why is that? Because the same 8 hours that a human could produce said amount of product, right? Said amount of product would be X. That X is going to be amplified by 7 because the machine is more
Mhm.
efficient. The machine doesn't need 15-minute break periods,
Right.
right? There's no labor laws for the machine, right? Any changes or any increase in productivity with speed, you can just simply press a button or go and increase that speed with the robot. So this is something that's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
man, but is that a good thing? That's what everybody says. Is it great? Is it really helping us? Is it not helping us? And the
Yeah.
CEO from HP said, look, man, this is what you have to understand. We're all going to have to adapt. It's here. It's not going anywhere.
Facts.
I said this probably I had an Instagram video there that we did, and I was talking about prompt engineering.
Mhm.
And stay
Yeah.
right there, Ken. We're gonna tap on that.
I figured.
Yes. So prompt engineering, what is it? Prompt engineering is creating the prompts or creating the instructions of what you input into ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Yep.
There'll be other things, other AI functions that if you learn coding and prompt engineering, you're going to be a complete asset,
Yep.
right? And because a lot of people won't be able to get anything out of AI because they don't know how to input anything,
Yep.
which is why I say the teachers should be happy that the kids are coming with a phenomenal paper because you got to know how to input the instruction.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Most kids would not even be able to return a paper because they don't know how to instruct ChatGPT to give them the paper.
Right.
So if
Exactly.
he comes back with a phenomenal paper, yeah, he wrote that. Give him the A. Sounds good, doesn't it? It's not plagiarized. It's an
Yep.
A, right?
Give him
Just
the A,
saying.
dog.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. So it is what it
Facts.
is. And so we want to get into that's that article, but I wanted to get into before we got 6 minutes or so left. I wanted to get into this chart.
Mhm.
So it's companies that could benefit from the AI boom. We all know Nvidia, right? We see that one right there. And so that's story. That's storage and actual like hardware, right? That's a hardware thing. The actual NVIDIA's been killing. Marvel's been killing as well.
Yeah.
It's just crazy the run that they've been on. I'm looking at the list, and we have cloud software, Apple. You see that right there. I mean, it's in the blue. You see it. Cloud software, right? Software and SaaS capability. So Salesforce, Adobe, ServiceNow. These are all names that people know. These are names that, and guys, by the way, I'm naming off these names. We posted this. Go and look at the charts. And just a little bit, me, myself personally, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. And I'm going to tell you what Glenn's going to do and what Cam's going to do. We're going to go and invest in these companies. That's what we're going to do. Now, we're not telling you what you should do. We're just saying what we're going to do. So that being said, moving on.
100%.
Huh?
100%.
I'm just saying what we're doing. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. So tech and business software, you have Accenture Public, EXLS, Vertical Software, Nexus, Venom, Information Solutions. You have S&P. That's going to be a big one. S&P Global that's huge actually, because it integrates into so many different companies. That's going to be a big one. Security and infrastructure, Splunk, Palo Alto Network, internet and infrastructure. You got Alphabet, Amazon, Alibaba. If you don't have stock in Amazon and Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, Amazon, I don't have to tell you who that is, and Alibaba essentially is the Asia version, right, of, I won't say Amazon, it's the Asia version of like eBay. It's like the upgraded version of eBay.
It's like wholesale of everything. Yeah. All your phone cases that you pay $20 for, I can get it for 10 cents.
Yes, exactly.
We're gonna have Financial Friday phone cases coming at you soon.
Oh man, I love that.
You'll have a QR code on the back.
No, you get them good. Think about it. You get people good. I'm gonna give you a little game right now. You get really good and you start going to Alibaba, you purchase things from Alibaba and you put it on Amazon. That's a little game for you. Yep. Check it out. I'm just trying to give you a little game. Yeah. So guys, we got 3 minutes left. Give me your rap. Give me like AI. Give me what you think, man. It's affecting everything. Everybody's scared. Some people are happy, but what's your take on it?
Yeah, so you hit on a couple of things that I was going to talk about. So I will say this, and my comment is for every community, but I'm going to specifically speak on the Black and Brown community.
Mm-hmm.
And so from my experience of growing up in Philly and, the lack of education or the system itself being designed to where you only are able to think within the box.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I will say that I want to encourage anybody watching this or anyone that has family or whatever the case is to start, if you have not already, to start doing research or educating yourself on ChatGPT, on AI, like just all of it, because this is, I think I mentioned this last Friday or the Friday before, like AI is not going away, right? It's not. And so the faster that you are in tune and educating yourself on the forward progress of AI, because it's going to continue to evolve to a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And so if you are years behind, or if you're weeks behind, it's going to feel like you're years behind. Yep. And so I encourage everyone to start researching, because it's in the schools. Like, students are utilizing it. It's being utilized in business, as we've seen in the article. Something personally that I'm doing, my 10-year-old Darren, that's one of the things that we're getting him educated and spun up on, because what I'm looking at solve for us in my business is to have him understand and be very thorough with prompt engineering, right? Mm-hmm. So not only am I able to pay him, for his services, like he's now able to utilize that skill set and train other people or train other youth within that. Because again, not only is financial literacy a missing link in our community, this is going to be a whole nother layer just in our school systems alone. So those are kind of my thoughts, man. When it comes to the AI, I'm a huge fan of it, but it is also scary because of the potential of what it can do globally. So,
and if you don't get it, you'll be decades behind. You won't be years. Sure. You'll be decades. This is an inflection point. You won't be years behind. You'll be decades. You'll be so far behind you won't be able to catch up.
Right.
Just being
Facts.
Mhm.
Facts. Leverage people. Leverage people, leverage technology, leverage AI, leverage your money. If you don't know how to leverage and delegate, you already behind. But if you
Right.
don't hop on this train, you're gonna be even further behind.
Mhm.
man. And it's not even crypto or nothing. You know, like crypto, they're like, oh, don't get left behind. Like that train is slow. This one is a bullet train in
Fact.
Japan.
Hell,
Like you don't hop on, man. It's so far gone. Like
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't think people realize it. Yeah.
Hey, I know we're wrapping up, but real quick, I got to give a shout out to the comments. You know what I mean? Like everybody that's tuning in,
man,
like they're
they've been
live.
active.
They're live in the comments today. We appreciate it. Dom, Lisa, Diamond, Raquel, you know, Denicia.
Yeah.
You know, they've been going, and definitely appreciate that. The comments and having you guys a part of the conversation. So come back.
and then at the
Remember to
beginning we
share
had
this.
Connie. Connie was on here
Yeah,
too.
Connie was on
Shout
here.
out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
to the
Shout
Holloways.
out
Give me
to
a shout
Connie, man, to the fam. Guys, remember this. I'm doing plugs. Share this with 5 people that need this information. I'm gonna tell you this. Next time I'm gonna ask, like my man, somebody does this, but I gotta ask, if I made you money, you know, right? Put something in the chat. Listen, tag 5 people or send this to 5 people that need this information. I guarantee they're going to need it and they're going to use it. If they can implement it, it's going to be life changing.
Yeah.
You want those companies, that the companies that are on that list, you want those companies. I'm just
Yep.
saying, we're investing. All 3 of us are investing. I'm not telling anyone else to invest. I'm saying us 3. That's what we're doing.
Stay investing. But as we wrap up, y'all, we appreciate you joining us for another Financial Friday. Every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like Rico says, send it to your folks. You know, whether they need it, whether you think they need it or not, you need it. I promise you. So send it out and they'll appreciate you. You know, let's build the financial literacy among our communities and let's make it happen every Friday, one at a time. Cool. So other than that, we hope you guys have a great weekend and we'll see y'all later.